Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of With Summit Fire. I'm Deputy Chief Don Nelson, and it's nice to be here. Just going to give you a little information today about another role that I play. Not only am I Deputy Chief of the Fire Department, but I'm also the City of Summit Emergency Coordinator. Now what does that mean? Whether it be a hurricane, a blizzard, dry spout, whatever the case may be, it's my job to make sure we have a plan in place to handle that. It's my responsibility to do that. So how do we do that? Well, we get all the players in town together, whether it be the police department, first aid squad, DPW, of course the fire department, and any outside agencies that have an interest in town, like Overlook Hospital, Jersey Central, PSC&G, just to name a few. And we all get together and we discuss what would we do if certain things happen. And we develop a plan. It's called an all hazard plan. What we do is we use this all hazards plan to develop a basis of how we would respond to emergencies such as hurricanes, snowstorms, things like that. So we incorporate that into our everyday operations. So right now I'm standing in the EOC, and though it doesn't look like much, when we do have a large-scale event, when the EOC is activated, there could be several agencies in here. There could be up to 30 people. We could have, again, the police department, fire department, first aid squad, Overlook Hospital, all different types of agencies that have an involvement in town. And they're in this room, and we're actually coordinating together on getting resources for the agencies that are out in the field actually handling the emergency. So again, in a case like Sandy, if we needed generators, the request would come back to the EOC. The EOC would make some phone calls to our contacts and get generators. If we needed sandbags, we'd talk to DPW. DPW would have a plan on getting sandbags. And all along that way, that's what we would do. But really what we want to talk about today is how you, the average citizen, can help the emergency services in town. There's many simple things you can do. Just think about, I'm going to give you a real quick example. Suppose you're on an oxygen machine and you lose power. Are you prepared to handle that? What would you do? The fire department would certainly help you out the best we could, but again, in a case like Superstorm Sandy, when you have half the population's without power, there's only so many generators to go around. So do you have a plan to help yourself if that should happen? Does that mean you have to go out of town, stay with a relative? Do you have to get a generator? Do you have a plan to get a generator? So those are some things that you can do to help us out. Additionally, do you know how to shut the gas off in your house? If you're forced to evacuate, do you know how to shut the gas off? Do you know how to shut the water off? So here's the scenario. Suppose there's a blizzard and it's January and you're forced to evacuate because you lose power. Now you may not have heat if you have electric heat. Do you know how to shut the water off so your pipes don't burst? Or suppose it's during the summer months and you lose power and your air conditioning doesn't work. Do you have a generator to help you out there? These are all little things you should think about and make your own plan at home of how to resolve those issues. Fire department, police department, squad will always help you out the best we can. But all as they say in the emergency management field, all emergencies start local and end local. And you have to be prepared on your own to handle whatever emergencies you can and call 911 when you need it. We'll come out and help you the best we can. However, there's times when you have to take care of yourself. Do you have a go bag? If things go bad and you're forced to evacuate, do you have something ready to go right away if you have to leave at a moment's notice? And here's what a lot of people forget. When you're home, things are a little bit different, but now that it's summertime, we're recording this in June, a lot of us go away for vacation. And actually right now, between I think it's June 1st and November 30th is actually hurricane season. And a lot of us go down the shore. So what happens if we're forced to evacuate? Do you carry a go bag with you? It might sound silly, but carrying a go bag is one way to help you feel more comfortable if you have to evacuate. So what's in your go bag? Well, it could be money, because remember, again, during Superstorm Sandy, when we lost power for several weeks, ATMs didn't work. Maybe banks didn't have enough electricity to operate their computers. How do you get cash? So have some cash, throw it in that to-go bag. Spare medicine. If you're on medicine, do you have spare bottles of medicine around in case you have to leave right away? Clothes, batteries, contact numbers, anything that's important to you that you need in a moment's notice if you have to leave right away should be in that go bag. Other things you can think about, if you have to evacuate, what about your pets? Where do your pets go? Everybody talks about how shelters are going to be set up. Some shelters can't take dogs or cats or any pets at all. Special shelters have to be set up for people who have pets. Check in your area. Does your area have a pet shelter? Plan in advance. Hope things don't happen, but when it does happen, you're prepared. One of the things we talk about on the fire side, as opposed to the emergency management side, is if the smoke alarm goes off in your house, what do? Do you run around like a bunch of crazy people, or do you have a plan to get out? And this is kind of the same thing on the emergency management side. We encourage our citizens to be prepared if something does happen. What they talk about, or what the emergency management group talks about, is the average citizen should be prepared to support themselves for 72 hours. That's 3 days. And I know it sounds like a long time, but if you think about it, again, back to Superstorm Sandy, we had a lot of preparation time, but we didn't exactly know when the storm was going to hit. And then once it hit, it goes on for a day. Then there's a day, kind of getting things squared away, and then the actual recovery period starts. So it actually is 3 days. Do you have enough water supply at home if your pipes break for 3 days? Do you have enough food for 3 days? Do you have enough cash for 3 days? How about batteries? I know it sounds like a lot, but 3 days goes pretty quickly. And as I said before, all emergencies start local and end local. So it starts with the average citizen taking care of themselves until the emergency services can get there. And then once we get there, we try to help out the best we can. We try to get the resources that we can for you. But it's very important that you be prepared for that 72-hour time frame. Are you signed up for Swift Reach and Nixle and Summit? That's how we communicate emergency information to the citizens. It's important that you're signed up for that. The City of Summit website also gives out information. Sometimes during bigger storms like these past few winter storms, we set up 1-800 numbers or other numbers to contact us here at the EOC if you had a problem. Our dispatch center was inundated with calls, and they logged everything, and we responded to every call we got. But it takes time. When you get 3,000 calls or thereabouts, and you got to handle them all, it takes a long time. So just be aware that it's important you're prepared for 72 hours. All right, I mentioned those websites, ready.gov, very important place. It gives you a lot of information. City of Summit website also gives you a bunch of information on how to handle these emergencies, or be prepared for these emergencies, I should say. I'd like to thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to call us.